You're now watching Q News, and here are the top stories for this hour. Israel's 2-week-long aid blockade has continued. Many have resorted to charities to get hot meals for their children. The war has left most of Gaza's population of over 2 million dependent on international aid. About 608 trucks have entered daily since the ceasefire began on January 19. Groups that gained stay during 6 weeks ceasefire to avoid famine. Part of this trip have been diminishing. Israeli occupation forces have continued their wide-scale assault on the city of Jenin and its refugee camp for the 55th consecutive day. Israeli forces set fire to homes in the Jenin refugee camp, blocked Jenin government hospital, and stationed tanks around the camp. Bulldozers razed streets while raids continued in nearby villages. Since January 21st, the assault has killed 34 Palestinians, displaced 20,000, and demolished 120 homes. Hundreds of Palestinians have gathered for a Ramadan iftar among the ruins of their destroyed homes in Beit Lahia, as well as the ruins of the city's Salim Abu Muslim Mosque. Organizers say that the iftar gathering is a message by the people to reject any attempt at displacing Palestinians from Gaza, referring to comments made by U.S. President Donald Trump. At least 9 Palestinians, including 3 local journalists, were killed in an Israeli airstrike on Gaza's northern Beit Lahia town. The local health ministry said that as Hamas leaders held ceasefire talks with mediators in Cairo. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told the head of the country's Shin Bet domestic security service, Ronen Bar, that he plans to propose his dismissal to the government this week. In the statement, Netanyahu said that he had long lost his confidence in Bar and that trust in the head of the domestic security service was especially crucial at a time of war. Former National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir supported the decision. However, opposition leaders Yair Golan and Yair Lapid criticized the move, with Lapid planning to challenge it in Israel's Supreme Court. Shin Bet is currently part of an investigation into possible links between employees in Netanyahu's office and Qatar, which has been mediating ceasefire talks between Hamas and Israel. The U.S. Central Command has said that its forces were continuing operations against Yemen's Houthis after Washington said that it will keep striking the group until it ends attacks on shipping. In a video released by the U.S. Central Command, fighter jets were shown taking off from an unidentified location. The airstrikes, which the Houthi-run health ministry said killed at least 53 people, are the biggest U.S. military operation in the Middle East since President Donald Trump took office in January. Yemen's Houthi leader Abdel Malik al-Houthi has said that his forces will target U.S. ships in the Red Sea as long as the U.S. continues its attacks on Yemen. He said in a televised speech, if the U.S. continues its aggression, it will continue the escalation. Al-Houthi's speech came hours after the group's spokesperson Yahya Saraya said that they targeted the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman and its warships with ballistic missiles and drones in response to U.S. attacks on Yemen. The European Union has launched an urgent appeal for humanitarian aid for Syria at the annual Brussels conference as the country faces severe humanitarian and economic crises. This year's Brussels conference sees Syria's new government participating for the first time post-Assad. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaya Kallas stressed the urgent need for aid. Syrian Foreign Minister Asad al-Shibani will attend with European and Arab ministers. Last year's event secured 7.5 billion euros in aid, with the EU pledging 2.12 billion euros for 2024-2025. Currently, 16.5 million Syrians need humanitarian assistance. Moving on to Lebanon, where the health ministry has said that an Israeli airstrike on the southern town of Ainata resulted in 2 people killed. A Lebanese security source said that Israeli warplanes fired 2 air-to-ground missiles at the house, leading to casualties and destroying the house. Meanwhile, Lebanon's official national news agency reported that an Israeli drone dropped a stun grenade in the afternoon near a civilian inspecting his home in the village of Aya. The Israeli military said that a gunshot hit a vehicle in the Israeli community of Avivim, with no immediate reports of injuries. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he plans to speak to Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. Trump said that significant progress had been made over the weekend. He expressed hope for ending the conflict, acknowledging both possibilities while emphasizing a strong chance of success. He added that he may make a possible announcement on Ukraine-Russia talks by Tuesday and highlighted that land and power plants are central to Russia-Ukraine deal talks.
Well, I think we'll be talking about land. It's a lot of land. It's a lot different than it was before the wars, And we'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about power.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced that he appointed Major General Andriy Natov as Ukraine's chief of the general staff. Zelensky said that Natov would be tasked with making Ukrainian troops more combat ready. Zelensky also said that he had spoken to Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney and discussed sanctions on Russia and the G7